All right, guys. Thanks for joining us today. Got Coach Rhule here to answer questions you guys have for him. Everyone should have recording access. If you have any issues with that, just let me know. Reminder to use the raise hand button if you have questions for Coach. With that said, we should be able to get going. Coach, you want to start us off?
No, I'll start with questions.
Okay. Let's go to Skylar Callahan to start.
Hey, Matt, just trying to get an update on Johnny Miller. What's the early signs on him?
Looked like it was a pretty bad ankle sprain, so I would say he's probably a doubtful for this week.
Is that something that could be an IR thing, or is it too early to tell?
Potentially, I haven't spoken with the doctors yet. Usually that happens here in a little bit.
All right, let's go to David Newton, followed by Kevin Tolbert.
Hey, Matt, kind of revisiting yesterday after you've gone back and looked at the film, your decision to sit Sam. Can you talk about that? Is he still your quarterback that you want to go forward with this week? And can you also address the reports that you guys may look at Deshaun Watson?
Well, I'll start with the second one. Obviously, I know there was a report out there. You guys know that wasn't from me. I really have nothing to add to that. My focus is on this team, and we're a 3-4 football team right now, and we've got to find a way to win this week. So my focus is on learning from yesterday and then getting ready for this week. With that being said, Sam will start at quarterback this week. I've said to you guys that there's going to be some high moments and some low moments. I think how he responds this week is going to be important for him and to our team. And I think I made the right decision yesterday, to be quite honest with you. It wasn't good enough. And, when you're the quarterback, it has to be good enough, and it wasn't good enough. And so, as always, he needs some help, needs some guys to make some plays. But, I wanted to try to get a spark. I wanted to win that football game. And, put PJ in a tough situation, and asked him, hoping he could maybe make some plays with his legs and make some throws down the field. But we're back to this week. We want to go 1-0 this week against Atlanta. Sam will be our quarterback, and he needs to have a great week, and he needs to play better. And I'm sure he'll be the first to say that to you. I'm sure he didn't like yesterday. Hopefully it makes him stronger and a better quarterback.
And you said you wanted to see the team infuriated and upset after this loss. I mean, Sam doesn't show much emotion. How do you deal with that? Because he didn't seem upset. And then ask about being benched. He didn't say he was embarrassed. He just kind of said, it is what it is.
Yeah, I can't speak for other people. I try not to. I think everyone shows things differently. And to me, it's not about post-game locker room speeches. It's about, are you going to get up earlier this week? Are you going to work harder? Are you going to, play harder, and all those different things? I mean, sometimes on defense, you can start complaining about the offense and get distracted from the things that you're doing. Are we going to put all that losing behavior aside, and the defensive coaches and players are going to focus on each play for themselves, or the offensive players and coaches going to raise their level of production, special teams wise? Obviously the special teams, the punt game hurt us yesterday. So when I say infuriated and angry, I think I was referring to like a sense of urgency, that I expect our guys to have a sense of urgency. This is not going to continue.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Kevin. I don't think Kevin's at his computer, so let's go to Will Plachik, followed by Steve Reed.
Matt, you kind of sat here a week ago and told us that the edict was you guys were going to run the football more, and the running numbers did not go up this past weekend. How do you reconcile that, and what went into the decisions to run the football less than you wanted to?
I thought we ran the football well in the first half. Obviously we were in a little bit more no huddle. I think we were efficient 9 of 11 of the runs in no huddle. Got to the second half, ran the football first play, got to 3rd and 2, didn't convert. I think it was 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. So obviously still not running the football the way we want, and not part of that's converting third downs. You need to stay on the field and wear on people, and we're not doing any of that. So you're absolutely right, Will. I said it would happen. It didn't happen. I thought we started off that way, but it got away from us. So that has to be better. With the defense we have, if we can just run the football and protect the football, we'll win games. I mean, the formula is pretty simple. It's just not being executed, and that's why I'm focused right now on trying to get it executed this week.
And just a quick follow-up, have you contemplated a change in how you go about the play calling with Joe?
We met this morning, just kind of looking at everything, the whys of everything. I think Joe's an excellent coordinator. I think he has a good plan. I just think we have to do a lot of things better. So, we'll spend all day today, to be quite honest with you, offense, defense, special teams, looking at what we're doing and how we're doing it. What needs to happen moving forward, and try to make the best decisions to be good this week.
Matt, just to follow up what you were asked earlier, and I know Scott has said he wants to be in on every trade. Will you particularly contact the Texans about Deshaun Watson before the trade deadline?
And I understand why you guys have to ask. And obviously I can't talk about any player under contract or anything like that. So I couldn't answer that question anyway. But, I'm here today to talk about, yesterday and this week. What our team doesn't need right now is a distracted coach. We need, they need me focused on the matter at hand, and that's finding a way to win.
All right, let's go to Joe Person, followed by Jonathan Alexander. Go ahead, Joe. I think you need to unmute yourself.
I'm trying. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that, Matt. Matt, just to be clear then, are you contemplating having someone else call the offense this week?
I wouldn't say that that's my thought right now, but we have to get something fixed. I think there's a lot of issues in execution right now. I don't look at the plays and say, hey, why did we call that? Why did we call this? I think we just have to execute a little bit better, a lot better, to be quite honest. So, I'm trying to just take today and really go back and look at everything and figure out why we were throwing the ball for 300 yards a game or 280 yards a game for the first 3 games. And, we're struggling to complete very many passes right now. So, just trying to do a nice job of looking at all that.
And then 2 other quick things. You had mentioned in earlier response about guys getting to the building earlier. Is there an issue that maybe some of your guys aren't making that kind of time commitment needed to be a successful program?
No, I don't remember saying that. If anything, I was just saying, like, when you get to these moments, you just try to work your way through it. There's no easy fix. I have no issue with our guys. I'll always look at our schedule. Is there something better we can do? Just some of the young, we're playing a lot of guys are having to step up into new positions. Do we need to meet more? Maybe we need to meet more after practice to make sure we correct some things, but some of those guys like, Michael Jordan, they're real bright spots right now when you turn the offense on, turn the defense on. Some of the guys that stepped up and played for, the first time, played some of their best football. So, but no, I have no issue. Our guys' work ethic. I think our issues, Joe, to be quite honest, are we get to the game and we're not executing at the level we want right now.
And then lastly, Matt, obviously the trade is Scott's purview, but I'm assuming you have a role in it. What is your role as you guys contemplate trades, previously and moving forward?
I think we always just talk about the player and the fit and the risk and the reward and what you're giving up. And, up until now, I think, we get called about a lot of trades, a lot of things. Sometimes some of the things never materialize. Sometimes they do. Scott and I always just try to sit down and look at it and see what's best for the Carolina Panthers. And that's been our process.
Matt, do you anticipate possibly making a move with offensive line as far as like seeking them before the trade deadline?
Like I said, guys, I'm focused on Atlanta. You guys know kind of the way Scott does it. He'll be in on it. Every deal that he can be in on, but I'm really just focused on trying to get the team to play better.
Do you at all worry about the impulsiveness team after the compounding losses, 4 straight losses?
No, I'm expecting them to show up ready to go.
All right, let's go to Kevin Tolbert and then Darren Gant.
Hey, Matt. You talked about playing with the sense of urgency. First of all, how do you turn that into actions of urgency? And secondly, do you think that there is an issue with players interpreting it more as a sense of panic and operating in that regard? Brian Burns mentioned that there are guys trying to do too much at times in the game.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that a lot. I think defensively sometimes we have a bunch of guys that are tough guys, that are alphas, that want to make plays, that want to help the team win, and there's a discipline required to do your job. And then when the opportunity comes to make your play, not go make a play, that's not something that comes from hey, we've lost a couple games. It comes from just in general. That's something you always have to. Something you always have to work out on defense, because the guys on defense, they want to get to the quarterback, but sometimes you have to keep the quarterback in the pocket so someone else can get the sack, and vice versa. So I think some of those things show up in every game, and we're always working towards that. We're a good defense trying to become a great defense. And part of that is just those details of execution that seem unimportant until they are important. I don't sense any panic. I certainly don't have any panic. Panic never gets you anywhere. At the same time, you have to make, tough, cold-blooded, hard decisions and conversations. And that's what good teams do to root out the things that cause you to lose. And so we'll do that. We try to approach winning and losing the same. There's good and bad in each. And again, focus on the good and eliminate the bad. So obviously this was a very, difficult loss. So there's a lot to talk about today. So we'll meet with the players here in a little bit, and we'll go through that process and then get moving. So that to me is the only way to handle it. I don't sense any panic. And all I want is urgency. I think they have it. If they don't, then we'll find the guys who do have it, and I think, I sitting on the plane last night talking to Shaq Thompson, I know he has it. I know Burns will have it. So we'll have a lot of guys who have it. And part of it is just, to be quite honest with you, it's just playing better. We got to play better at some positions, and that'll result in wins.
Thank you.
Matt, you mentioned Jordan earlier. How did you assess him and Brady on the left side of that offensive line? And if John's not able to go this week, who's next guy into that spot?
Yeah, I mean, we figured some things out up front on the offensive line with some injuries. I think Brady, to be quite honest, Brady struggled. He was a late addition to the starting lineup, didn't get all the reps on, Wednesday and Thursday, got some, but not all of them. And then, had to go out and play a lot. So, it was not what we needed it to be. I thought Michael Jordan, he plays the game. Like, you'll hear me talk about the brand. I mean, he's the brand. He's tough. He's physical. He tries to set edges. He tries to attack and win on their side of the line of scrimmage. He plays hard. He's a guy that, I think is going to be a really good offensive lineman for us for a while.
All right, let's go to Sheena Quick next, followed by David Newton.
Hi, Coach. One of the areas that jumped out a little bit watching the game yesterday was in the punt game. Do you anticipate any changes in the next week and a half? Was kind of putting you guys behind the 8 ball as far as field position.
Yeah, it's a extremely true statement. We played the whole first half really in our own side of the football. If you look at the way their defense played, obviously we gave up a safety and gave them the ball at their 41-yard line, gave them the ball at their -37. So we have to punt the ball better. I thought our coverage at times was excellent. I thought Sam Franklin and Stanley Thomas Oliver did a really nice job covering punts. But we have to punt the ball better. So what exactly that means, we'll see over the next couple of days.
Go ahead, David.
Thanks, Coach.
I wasn't sure she had a follow. Going back, I know you mentioned kind of almost a laundry list of things you've seen. You've seen Sam do incorrectly, at least in that game. What is the most consistent thing that's bothered you about his performance the last 4 games?
I don't remember saying a laundry list. I'm not
You
sure what
didn't
you're.
say laundry list, but you gave like throwing off the back foot, not hitting
Oh,
open receivers.
You're talking about you're talking about yesterday. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I got you. I don't know if I can identify one thing. I just think that we have a system and we have progressions and we have footwork and all those things. And I just want guys to play within it. If there's no one open, then run or check the ball down. So, trying to you have to be able to quarterback, in my opinion, to anticipate what's going to happen, but you can't lock in on that. So, we've all seen Sam do it right. That's the biggest thing right now, right? That's where, as a coach, whether you're Sean or Joe or me, you have to fight to find a way to get him to play better, because we've seen him do it right. We saw it for the first 3 games. We saw it for long parts of the Dallas game. And, right now it's just it's not going the way we want. And so to me, what do? You go back to the fundamentals of being in good body position, of playing through progressions, and making sure the guys are open and that we're protecting from as best we can. So I think if we can get that done, that's all I really want. I don't need amazing throws. I don't need, wow plays. I just need us to play the system and throw the ball on time and throw the ball with the proper footwork. And if we do that, then, to me, you always have a chance.
Is it as simple as getting Christian McCaffrey back at some point, or does it go far beyond that?
Well, I think anytime you have a quarterback who has, anytime you give him a weapon like that, it's going to obviously affect and help. We lined up anytime we were in 3-by-1 yesterday, they dropped the safety down to DJ. You can't really do some of those things when you add in Christian, but that being said, we're playing Atlanta this week and Christian's not playing. So we have to figure it out. And, Sam had Christian there. He had a really good chemistry with him. We were throwing the ball really well. It hasn't been that way since Christian's been out. We've got to fix it. We got to move forward.
Let's go to Jonathan Alexander.
Matt, in evaluating Sam, how do you look at how much it is him versus not having Christian? Like, how do you separate that? What is your process in separating that?
I just separate it. At the end of the day, like let's say we have a route that normally would throw to Christian and the quarterback takes 3 steps and hitches to throw it to him. If Christian was open, he threw it to him. If you throw the same route to Chuba or Royce and he's open, I expect you to throw it to him, but not say, well, I'll go to the next one. Right. So obviously having Christian makes everyone better, but our job is to coach Sam, and it's not just Sam. Our job is also to coach the O-line and the receivers and the tight ends. And there's a lot of opportunities for bigger plays yesterday that didn't happen. So there's not any one group on offense right now that I think is playing excellent football. And that's why I asked of them this week, was to play great football. We didn't play great football. And, I want the defense to try to outplay the other team's defense. And, so that doesn't matter what our offense does, just outplay their defense. And the special teams, I want them to impact the game. So that's the mindset I hope we have moving forward. But I just want Sam to play within the system.
And whether you make a change, like how much patience do you have, whether it's the quarterback or it's offensive play calling, whether it's the offensive line or the drops? Like how much more patience do you have before you make it?
Yeah, I just don't know that anything that's happening is going to be solved by any one move. It's easy. It's like I said to you guys yesterday, it's really easy when you see like 5 things being done right, one thing struggling, then you fix it there. But when everything's not to the standard that you want, all I know is just to keep working. I don't know. Sometimes you guys ask me about panic. Like, I think we're doing the very opposite of panicking. We're grinding our way through this process. And part of the process right now is for the defense to say to themselves, I don't care what happens with the offense. We're going to outplay the other team's defense. And for the offense to say, we're all going to raise our level, and special teams wise to say, you know what, field position does matter. And, the little things do matter. So if we can do all those things, when they all come together, to me, that's championship football. And we're just trying to build a championship team. We're trying to build a team that competes to go to the Super Bowl. And that we're trying to build it. We don't have it. We're trying to build it. And so that's this process that we're going through. And that's the mentality and culture we're trying to create of not making excuses, not looking at other people, but everyone controlling themselves. So in terms of patient, I have no patience for losing, none. But it's what's the best way to fix it? And that's just, it's not very, fun to say, but it's just get a little bit better every day. And as I said, some things though, Jonathan, we were doing really well a couple of weeks ago, and they've got to be better now.
All right, guys, we're tight on time, so we'll get one more. So let's go to Joe Person before we wrap it up.
Thanks, Preston. Hey, Matt, besides Christian too, Sam lost a big time target for him with Dan Arnold in that trade. I know the CJ Henderson deal was with the future in mind, but any sort of regrets now with hindsight being 2020 that you lost Christian and Dan basically at the same time?
Yeah, this is not like I said, it's not great to live in hindsight, but because you asked the question, I'll answer the question. At the time we knew it was going to have an impact, right? But we believe that defense wins championships, and we're gonna bring CJ along. We think he's going to be an excellent player, but I loved having both those guys on the field. That being said, all we can do right now is control what we can control, and that's we have to play well and not do crazy things, outside the system. Just stay within the system and throw it to whoever's open. And I'll just say that I've seen, if you talk about positives right now, and there's not a lot of positives that should be talked about, but like Ian Thomas is playing excellent football, and Tommy Tremble's coming along. So there's some guys that are playing really well. And I believed that Ian was going to come along, and I believed that Tommy was going to come along. And, you go back to last week, against Minnesota, which I hate going back, but the vertical to Ian got us in position, and then the 2-point play to Tommy. So we have some guys making plays. The guys we do have, I trust them to play.
Matt, you have a bunch of guys that may or may not come back this week. Any updates on Stephon, Burris, Cam Irving, and Shaq?
I expect Cam to be back. He's battling illness. Would love to have him, would have loved to have had him out there, and expect him to be out there this week. And Shaq, he was right there with us. He warmed up for the game. He was going to do some stuff today. So I'm hopeful that Shaq can play. I'm hopeful that Stephon can play, and hopeful that Justin can play. So, we have a bunch of good players that are set to come back. And, some of our guys that are playing right now, some of them, like, Sam Franklin, made the stop on 4th and 1 on the goal line. Stanley Thomas Oliver stepped up into a role with some, we had a bunch of corners go down yesterday, and guys like Stanley stepped up and played a ton. So, I've had this vision of getting some of these guys back, and some of the guys that are, that have been playing, they now have experience, and that we would have a really deep team. So, we need those guys to come back, to be quite honest, especially to play Atlanta. We need Stephon and Shaq and JB and those guys to, if they can, we'll never, ever, ever sacrifice anything for a player's health, but if they can go, it would really help us.
All right, guys, that's going to do it. Coach, we appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, guys.